Do you want to slow travel but feeling a bit overwhelmed? Maybe you've been slow traveling and looking for some tips to make things easier. Well, you're in the right place. Hi, my name's Howard Taylor. I've been a slow traveler with my wife since 2019 around the US, Canada, Europe, and Asia. And I'm going to share with you today my 10 easy steps to get started slow traveling. There'll also be some good tips in there for you current slow travelers that you may find help make your lives easier too. Here we go. First, why travel? Why do you want to travel? And if you're going to be traveling with someone, why do they want to travel? You want to make sure that you are on the same page here. In other words, one person may be into the museums and art and culture. The other person, I want parks and nature and waterfalls. Maybe a little of both is their common scenario, but some people, I just don't want to spend that much time in museums. Other people, I'm not that much into nature. Make sure you have a good talk and understand that before you start your traveling. One reason not to travel is because you think travel will fix something in you, in a relationship. That's not why travel is there. If you're traveling, do it for enjoyment. Do it for whatever reason you want, but that reason should not be that it's going to fix you. One of my favorite sayings is simply, wherever you go, there you are. You're going to have the same thoughts, the same feelings, the same insecurities, the same likes, the same dislikes. Those will all still be with you. Travel may change where those things are happening, but they're not going to change what's inside of you completely. Your perspective may change, and that may help quite a bit. But wherever you go, there you are. So please don't think travel is going to fix you. It won't. But it can make your life more enjoyable, more enriching, more pleasant, seeing different cultures. Of course, this is about slow traveling. So why slow travel? Well, slow travel is not to tick off the boxes, not to make your TikToks or your Instagrams or whatever so you can uh, check something else off. No, slow travel is to enjoy the journey. Essentially, with slow travel, we're living along the way. So if I'm going to be in a place, I'll say for 28 days, because that's where the Airbnb discounts occur. So if I've got at least 28 days in a place, you can pretty much see the main sites in a week or two. You'll see them, experience them. Then you've got to do something with your time. You're living your life. You spread it out. You're able to relax. You're able to do the same things you do a lot at home, or what was your home, or what may still be your home. You can do those same things, but you can be more leisurely as far as getting out and seeing and enjoying and experiencing the different things that you can while traveling. Bottom line with traveling, and particularly slow traveling, okay, is to enjoy. This is your life. You don't get a do-over. You got one shot at this. And you could go running around and say, I've seen that, I've seen that, I've seen that, I've seen that, I've seen that. No, okay. Um, I've been to the Louvre. I've seen the Mona Lisa. I've stood in the massive line to see the tiny painting and wondered afterwards, why? What was the big deal? Side note, do you know why the Mona Lisa is so famous? Because it was stolen once. Then it became famous. Now it's there. It's a nice painting, but it's not really the best thing in the Louvre, but you kind of check it off the box. But I'm glad that I did, but I'm glad also that I didn't make it the focus of my trip. Enjoy life. Take time, smell the roses, they say. And when you're doing slow travel, you can, so let's say with 4 weeks in an area, a couple of weeks, you'll see most of the stuff that you need to see. Then you got time to just relax, watch a few shows on TV, exercise, eat, read, just enjoy life along the way. Get some hikes in, whatever you want. It's up to you. But enjoy the journey. Don't try to rush through it. Number 2, overchoice. Do not be overwhelmed by overchoice. What's overchoice? Well, it's a strange term. I believe it was coined back in 1974 by Alvin Toffler in the book Future Shock. At that time, there was a shortage of everything, shortage of gas. People thought we'd run out of food, space, everything. And he was about the only person who said, no, no, that's not going to be the problem of the future. The problem of the future is going to be overchoice, too many choices. And you know what I mean, just trying to do a basic search on Google. And suddenly 10,000, 20, 30,000 results. Look at all the choices you've got here on YouTube for the videos. Yet you chose to watch this one. Thank you, by the way. Too many choices. Now you want to travel. Well, the entire world is pretty easily available these days. And if you've got too many choices, it can be tough to make the first step. But very simply, you're just going to end up wanting to take one step at a time. You will always be tweaking a little bit. We'll get more into that. And this is kind of why you keep watching travel videos like this. Now, if this is your first ever slow travel video, well, I'll just be shocked. Most likely you've watched a number of them, and then a number more. And we keep seeking that one answer that will solve everything, that will, now I know exactly what to do perfectly and cover all the bases. No. What you're going to do is the same thing that happened to me when I used to go to conferences when I was working. I was a stockbroker / financial planner. I worked with people who were retiring. A lot, that was my primary clientele, regular people. And I'd go to conferences and more conferences and more conferences. And they'd say the same things over and over and over. But at each conference, there might be 5% where they'd say something or do something that made a massive difference for me. And that's why you keep watching these videos. Many of these videos say the same thing. I know that. But you'll watch one and they'll say one phrase, show you one thing, one piece of luggage, one type of booking, one bit of news that's happened. And that 5% of that video can make all the difference in how well things work for you and how well you can deal with overchoice and go forward. So do not be overwhelmed by overchoice. You're going to be able to take steps forward and enjoy your slow traveling. Number 3, the basics. Okay, I'm going to apologize here because there's a few things in the basics that are really important for you to have before you go out and do your slow traveling. And you want to get those taken care of properly. And we're going to run through them here. It could be several videos just by themselves on this, but I'll hit all the key points and then you can address them as you see fit. First, don't start crazy. Don't start by, I'll sell everything. We'll sell the house, we'll sell the car, we'll sell everything. We'll get all our stuff down into a backpack and we'll hit the road. You've seen these people on YouTube. They always regret it. Don't do that, okay? Basically, they've run out and they hit the road and they don't know where they're going, but they're making great time. Well, let's take this a step at a time and get you set up so you can properly enjoy your slow traveling. The boring stuff now. Did I just say boring on a YouTube video? My God, you're going to leave, aren't you? No, no, stay. Please stay. Okay. First, number 1, passports. You want to get your passports, make sure they're up to date. You want to make sure you've got a lot of pages in your passports. So generally, many countries will say, hey, you've got to have at least 6 months of extra time on your passport before you can even come in. So you may want to get new passports with longer expiration date. Get the passports, as I say, with the most pages possible. It doesn't cost, I don't even know if it costs more. It's a minimal amount more and you're set and you're well covered. 2, what about your current home while you're gone? Well, somebody's got to watch it. Maybe you're renting it out. You have to decide, do you rent the home out? How long are you going to be gone? Initially, I would not do that. Initially, leave it there. Maybe a friend stays in it, have somebody check on it. But if you are going to be doing some long-term slow traveling, something I'd highly recommend is a home warranty. Now, I did a lot with real estate in the past. Actually, my wife did all the work and I looked pretty. With a home warranty, and we've had it on our homes and rental properties. It's a wonderful thing to have. Now, not everyone is perfect, I'll say that right away, but the advantage of the home warranty, if something breaks, especially if you are far away, You don't have to go searching for a plumber. You don't have to go search for the air conditioning person or a flooring or a roofer. There's one number that you call and it's taken care of. Does it cost a little bit more? Not really, usually. We always tended to break even or come out ahead with our home warranties. And I'd highly recommend that, especially when you're gone for the long term or even while you're at home. Number 3, and this is the right spot for this, triple redundancy. What I mean by triple redundancy, this is making sure that you don't lose your key stuff. In other words, you want to have 3 financial accounts at 3 different institutions. You want to have 3 different credit cards from 3 different places. You want to have 3 copies of your emergency card in 3 different places. 3 copies of your medical card in 3 different places. Anything that you can have copies of, you want to have physical copies of along the way. Yes, you'll have them on your phone too, and they'll also be on the cloud somewhere, but many times physical just wins. Just think triple redundancy. Look at anything you've got that's important and say, if I lost this, what happens? Triple redundancy. Number 4, emergencies. Well, first is medical insurance. Are you covered or not? Do not mistake travel insurance for medical insurance. International medical policies are a totally different beast than just regular travel policies. I have a whole video on Medicare. If you're in that group of over 65, what Medicare covers and does not cover outside the US. Any insurance policy that you get for medical, especially for international policies, be very, very careful in reading what is not covered, particularly pre-existing conclusions, because some policies will literally say that they won't cover something that you should have been aware of but did not have any symptoms for. Yep, they actually say that. We'll be addressing those sorts of things later. Again, this is just a quick overview of the 10 easy steps to take for you to get started. So pardon me if I don't go way down that rabbit hole at this time. Okay? Say okay. Thank you. All right. Next, be sure you sign up for STEP. That is the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. This is available through the State Department, and they will alert you when important things are happening, things you need to be aware of while you're traveling outside the US. Be sure to sign up for STEP. It is free. I mentioned before having triple redundancy. You want to make sure you have that card in your wallet. And basically, there's all the kinds of, pre-made cards. Go into some word processing document, make something that's card size, put your key information on it in a way that's readable, get it laminated, and have 3 copies of it so that you can keep it in your wallet and it's there no matter what. Yes, it's good to have the emergency information on your phone. Many of the phones you can code in the emergency information, but people have to find it, see it, access it, and think about it. People will think if something has happened to you that they will get your wallet to see, is there something in there that helps them find an emergency contact? And if there's anything medical to know, they're going to check out your wallet. Somebody may just take your wallet, but mostly they're going to be checking it to see if you have some sort of emergency information that's in there. Now here's an odd one that I highly recommend. Haven't needed it yet, fortunately. On your phone, you can get a flashlight app. There's different ones on Android. I've got a flashlight app. I paid for the one that's $1.99, and it has an SOS feature in it. You see all the time people they're lost in the woods or so on. Well, that little LED light on the back of your phone, if you can program it to broadcast an SOS on a dark night, they can really leap out. People who are searching know what SOS means. If you don't, it's ... dash, 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 ... That's what shows up, that's what can be seen, and that's what can help you in case of an emergency like that. Highly recommended, and hope you never need it. Okay, number 5 in our basics here, finances. You definitely want 3 credit cards from 3 different institutions, maybe 3 debit cards too, and kept in 3 different places. See how this works? Triple redundancy. Quick side note that's important here. If you use Capital One, I use Capital One, you want to make sure that you have Capital One active in something like Google Wallet, which I use, before you leave the US. Because guess what? They won't let you put it on Google Wallet after you're outside the US, at least at the time I made this video. So get that set up before you leave the US. Next, number 6 in the basics here, mail. Well, you got to deal with your mail. It's got to be set up for somebody to handle. Generally, you're going to have family or friends, and later you might use one of the mail services that are out there for nomads like us. Number 7, prescriptions. Make sure you get your prescriptions filled, have more than enough prescriptions for as much of your trip, basically double the amount of time that you're going to be gone, within reason. Vaccinations. Number 8, see what vaccinations you're going to need for whatever country you're going to, and go ahead and get those taken care of now. Number 9 in the basics is your phone. Well, you're going to have your phone with you. It's at your camera, it's your phone. You've got to access everything with your phone these days. But once you're outside the US, how do you do it? Well, I'm going to say very simply T-Mobile. T-Mobile has a great plan that you can get, and as soon as we land in another country, our phone detects the other country. I think it's over 250 countries, and says, welcome to whatever country we're in. We have 5 gigabytes of data automatically, and we're set. I don't have to buy a SIM card. I don't have to buy an eSIM. I don't have to do any changes of anything. I'm just covered, and it doesn't cost me any more. The plan itself is the world's cheapest? No, but it also includes a few freebies in it too, but definitely the T-Mobile plan miles ahead of anything else that I have seen. Google Fi can also do similar types of things, but they may limit more the amount of time that you can be out of the country before they cut off your plan. And I've known people who've had that happen to them. So T-Mobile has been fantastic, just wonderful. Plane lands, and we see, welcome to the country. We have 5 gigabytes of data available to us. You're not going to sit and watch all your YouTubes and everything on the phone. No, you probably need to get some Wi-Fi access for that. And with that, including on regular usage of their systems, you always want to get a VPN. We use Surfshark. We have a link down there for Surfshark. One reason we like Surfshark, other than it being a great VPN, it also has unlimited devices that allows with one plan. So that's really, really a big plus there too. Okay, do you need a SIM card though? You arrive in the other country, no, I need a SIM card? You might for only certain things though. If you need a local phone number. We've needed a local phone number. Recently we were in Vietnam. I wanted to buy some things online. Their system there is called Lazada, not like Amazon. It is the equivalent of Amazon, just slightly different. But to have it, you've got to have a local phone number, and that means you need a local SIM card, because T-Mobile's not going to give me a local phone number. An eSIM is not going to give me a local phone number. Only a SIM card will, and they're pretty much dirt cheap. So that's the number one reason probably that I've needed to get a SIM card. Now, what about making and receiving calls back home? Well, if you're on Wi-Fi, this is very nice. Google Voice will allow you to make and receive calls from back home at no cost. WhatsApp, huge, huge throughout the world, a little bit in the US, but massive throughout the world. The ability to call pretty much anywhere or receive calls from anyone else on WhatsApp was zero cost. Fantastic. You definitely need WhatsApp there. However, if you're walking around and you're not on Wi-Fi and you make a call or you receive a call to the US, then it's going to cost you some money. T-Mobile's 25 cents a minute. So I have not yet found an alternative or anything that will allow me to make and receive calls when I'm not on Wi-Fi that's free. If you do, please leave something in the comments and let me know and share it with everybody else, because I keep looking and I'd love to find it. And last in the basics, in your phone, you've got to make sure that you've got the apps that you're going to want and when you're traveling. Now you're going to be adding and tweaking apps all the time, but I'll give you the basic ones that we use, and you can hit and adapt as you wish. Of course, you've got email, messaging, browser, maps, weather, and a PDF reader. You got to have those. Your financial institutions, entertainment, Netflix, YouTube, Apple TV, Prime Video, etc. Odd note here, in Android phones, Apple TV does not have an app. So what do? Well, you go into your browser, go to Apple TV, and then add it to your home screen, and now it looks like you have an app, and that works that way. Okay. Certain must-haves. I mentioned earlier VPN. You've got to have a VPN. We like Surfshark. Chat GPT. We'll hit Chat GPT a bit more later, but yeah, these days, Chat GPT, you want that to make your life much easier. WhatsApp, Google Translate. Google Translate, I mean, there's other translators. Microsoft has one, and probably other people do too. Google Translate is probably the name most people think of. If you're on Android, Google Translate added a special feature in about mid 2025 that's something new that's become very handy. You can look up the Google Translate app and you'll see, and you can point your camera at things, and it's wonderful. Next, will adapt and tells you what something means. That's great. But if you have something on your phone and you've gone to a website and there it's in another language, well, it used to be kind of a pain to get it to translate. Now you can press the home button in the middle, hold it down, and up will pop something that says, "Do you want to translate?" Just a little circle with a T in it, and press it, and bingo, if it's possible, it's going to translate that page without you having to go into another app, take a picture, load the picture somewhere else. It's right there. Really handy feature that they didn't really promote that much, and I want to let you know about it. Other ones you must have. Currency Plus Pro, I use a currency converter. You want to be able to track that. Unit Converter Pro, I find extremely handy because we have the American system, which no one understands. Great Saturday Night Live skit. We use Fahrenheit. Nobody else does. We have inches and feet, which still make no sense, versus meters, which do. So a Unit Converter Pro, I use the Pro version just because it's like $1 or $2. Much easier. And that's a necessity, really. Lodging, you're going to have a bunch of apps, bunch of choices. Key ones for us: Airbnb, Kayak, because it can search a whole bunch of different providers at the same time. Booking.com, like it because after a little bit you get a 10% discount very quickly. Trusted House Sitters we use for pet sitting and house sitting. And Hotwire. I mention Hotwire because it's often overlooked. I don't hear it talked about much, but I've found some great deals on Hotwire when they say, "We can't tell you the name of this place, but we'll show you the picture of it." And they show you 3 different hotels, and it's very easy to figure out which one of the 3 is the hotel you're looking for, and can be some great deals that way. Cruises, one app, Cruise Plum, miles ahead of everybody else. There's some good providers out there, but for searching for cruises, Cruise Plum just leads the way. Take a look at my video on Better Than First Class, which I go through repositioning cruises and the basics of using Cruise Plum. That's fantastic. Transportation, you're going to need your car services. Grab, Uber, Bolt. Grab and Bolt are particularly big outside the U.S., Uber more in the U.S. All Trails for hiking. Rome to Rio is great for a variety of getting around ways. Is that good English? Yeah, we'll say it is. Google Flights. Now, strangely enough, Google Flights on my Android Pixel phone that I have, made by Google, and with the Android apps, there is no app for Google Flights. So what you got to do is go to Google Flights on your phone, add it to your home screen, and then it can look like an app. But Google Flights, and its probably number 1 competitor would be Skyscanner, great for tracking and finding your flights. You're going to need those. And then you're going to be doing some sightseeing. Biggies, Get Your Guide, TripAdvisor. They'll have the reviews of various things. That's really handy there. And another one that I use particularly that I think is great to keep in there is GPS My City. May not have even heard of it. It has a lot of actual walking tours built into it with AI talking to you along the way so that you can basically have your own self-guided tour. All right, that was too much. Those are the basics, but that's what you want to have down before you go heading out the door. You don't want to go heading out the door and then say, "Oh, I should have done this." No, you've got to unfortunately get those out of the way. Does that still count as an easy step? I think it does, because it's going to make everything else easier. See how I did that? Now, number 4 amongst the 10 easy steps. What to pack? Oh, this is really overwhelming. What am I going to take? Everybody overpacks at first, okay? We still overpack, I think, but because we have limited luggage, we can't overpack too much. but it is definitely overwhelming. And here's the few tips that you need. Okay. First, I want you to think Apollo 13 and Taco Bell. With those two thoughts in your head, all your packing is done. You want me to go a little more in depth? Okay, let's try. First, pack for a week. You can do laundry, so just pack for a week. Things like I like convertible pants. The pants, where you zip off the legs. Not fashionable, but great. My wife gets very upset because they seem to be more for men than women. But I think they're fantastic. So I've traveled the world with 5 pairs of pants, and I can have long pants anytime I need it. Puffer jackets because they fold down to nothing, and layers for cold. Let's review the packing styles. There's basically 4 methods for packing. You've got the roll. You've got the military roll, where it's rolled really tight and tucks into itself. You get the fold, and you have bundle. The heck is bundle? Bundle is where somebody they lay all their clothes down at once, fold it up into a bundle, and goes into their luggage. That's a bundle. Bundle is a problem when you try to unpack. You have to unpack everything at once. And then you got a couple of main packing devices. You have packing cubes and compression cubes. Compression cubes, you zip it up, compresses things down just like it sounds like, and these are more important, particularly when someone is using soft-sided luggage. The regular packing cubes, those can get actually compressed themselves if you're using hard-sided luggage when you close the hard side. Now let me back up a second. I said think Apollo 13 and Taco Bell. What did I mean by that? Very simply, think about everything that you have Apollo 13. They could only work with what they had with them. That's what you want, how you want to think. Now, that won't be the real case. You can always go down to the store and buy something else. You can buy more clothes. You can buy things from the pharmacy that you need. But when you're doing your packing, when you're doing your packing planning, think Apollo 13. Imagine that you can't go anywhere else. What do you do? And related to that now becomes Taco Bell. Everything should have, everything possible should be multi-purpose. If you've ever eaten at Taco Bell because you enjoy fine dining, well, there's ground beef, there's taco shells, there's lettuce, tomatoes, salsa, and sour cream, if you want the supreme version. Those are some of the main ingredients. They don't make just one dish with those ingredients. They make a number of different dishes that are sold pretty much with those 6 ingredients. With your clothes, if you're packing and you look at your clothes and you think, this is a wonderful piece of clothing, I want to take this with me, this is fantastic. Okay, great. Will you wear it to more than one thing? For men, how often will you wear a tuxedo? For women, maybe you want a very fancy gown. That's great. If you are going to some formal events, you wear the fancy gown. How many of those do you need? If it's one, okay, will I go to more than one formal event that I need that for? You have to decide that. Does it deserve a spot in your luggage? 2 of them probably don't, because guess what? While you might wear the same outfit twice, you probably won't be seeing the same people twice while you're traveling. And if you do, who cares? You still look great. So, Apollo 13 and Taco Bell. Okay, number 5, basics of where, why, and how. Now, as a couple, you've got more decisions to make than an individual that's traveling solo. That makes things a bit easier. But particularly as a couple, you want to have things like, a joint email for some of those plane reservations coming in. Rather than one of you receive it and talk to the other, get a nice joint email address. Second is use a basic spreadsheet. You've probably used a spreadsheet. You've probably tapped into one somewhere along the way. And people can just go crazy with this stuff. They can go absolutely insane. You just need a basic spreadsheet where it's going to show your date, where you're from, to where you're going, how you want to get there, and what do you expect that to cost. The nice thing with the basic spreadsheet, and I'll show a picture of mine in just a minute, is you can easily then modify, you can add, subtract along the way. What I like to do with it also is if something is pending or unknown at that point, I just simply make it a different color than the things that are solid. So I can, at a glance, and this is what you ought to be able to do, at a glance, look at it and say, oh, That's what we had that's already laid out. That's what we had that's pending, okay, that we're considering rather, and we're in good shape here. When you get one of these spreadsheets that it's easy to keep adding and adding and adding and adding and adding and adding and adding, then it gets this long and you can't see it. You get lost in it. You're not making a presentation to the corporate board. This is for you to see, for you to use as a tool to make your life easier, not more complicated. Tying into where, why, and how is also on the spreadsheet is how. How are you going to travel? For example, we do not like super long flights. That's just not our thing. We don't care for it. At my size, I don't fit in the plane a lot, as you can see from this picture. Uh, Depending on the plane, if I'm not getting to fly first class, which doesn't happen very often, we simply don't want those super long flights. So we take more repositioning cruises. Um, I've taken buses that were nice. We took a luxury bus once outside of Singapore. Wow, that was nice. um, you never quite know, but think about how you will be traveling. Maybe you won't be using Grabs and Ubers and all that. Maybe you'll be traveling by car the whole time. Around the US, we traveled in a van with way too much stuff before we got things down, before we felt more comfortable with having less. So you have to decide those, and your why, your how comes into play, and work it out on the spreadsheet, work it out together. Now, you're not deciding every place you're going to at this point, but maybe the basics. That's all you want to do. Number 6, luggage. Well, like I said, we came down from a house to a smaller house to a condo, and then we started with the van, a minivan, and we were scared about not having everything that we needed. We loaded that sucker up with more stuff than you can imagine. As you can see, I think I had the picture here. Yeah, it's you could have rolled the van and nothing would have shifted, and we had everything. Um, we didn't need it all. We discovered as we kept traveling and traveling, and got rid of it. And then when we headed to Europe, we got down to a couple of bags and less. When I say we got down to less in Europe, we were kind of fortunate in that we arrived in Amsterdam, went just outside of Amsterdam to a place called Alkmaar, and we got off the train, and then we took our bags and we were going to our Airbnb. We turned right instead of left. You'd actually see the Airbnb we were staying at from the train station, but we went right, and we kept going right over all the cobblestones. An hour or so later, wandering around. Well, we were carrying way too much luggage at that point. We still had not fully pared down everything. And so, well, maybe our phones weren't working. We weren't set up properly. It was not a good situation. So I said, okay, well, let's go into this coffee shop here, and then that's where we can make a phone call, and we'll reach our host, and we'll get there. So into the coffee shop. My wife went and came back and said, uh, that's a place where they recreationally enjoy marijuana. Okay, we were not prepared. So eventually we did make it. And we knew right away that we were going to reduce our luggage, which we did quickly. Now, we now use a carry-on piece of luggage and a travel backpack, each of two slightly different styles because we're slightly different people. And if you want to know more about the luggage that we picked, check out my video on what to look for when you're choosing the best possible luggage for you, your style of travel, and your situation. Number 7, it's time for a dress rehearsal. Wait, dress rehearsal, am I ready? Yes, you've got everything else we talked about, you're set. It's time for your dress rehearsal. Now, if you've ever been in a play, and I haven't since, I guess, college, high school, so I no longer am I an actor. Okay, fine. I told you the jokes don't get any better. You want a dress rehearsal in your home area. The nice thing about a dress rehearsal is you get to really experience what you may experience later if you do a dress rehearsal right. You must do a dress rehearsal as if you were actually doing it real time. You can't half do a dress rehearsal. Well, you know, we'll be using only these clothes, so I'll just live out of that. And no, no, no. Pack your bag and live out of that bag, live out of only that bag and your stuff exactly the same way you would if you were on the road doing slow traveling. You can do it a couple of ways. You can do it out of your house, which is not as good, but you can do it out of your house. Second, you can go someplace to a hotel or something nearby, an Airbnb nearby. I do encourage you to do it in your local area. Now, you'll be amazed if you treat it as a dress rehearsal and look at your local area. Almost everybody finds things in their local area that are being experienced by tourists who come in that you never knew. For example, we were in England at a spot, small, very small town, and for her birthday, I got my wife a trip on a glider plane. So she got to go on the glider and enjoy it. And it was only 15 minutes from where we were staying in a town of 300 people on a field that was used in World War II that there was now a glider field. It was very cool, big grass field. We told our host that we were staying, it was a pet sit actually, but we told the owner there, said, hey, we're going to go do this. She said, wow, how far away do you have to go? I said, it's about 15 minutes from your house. She said, really? I had no idea. I see that many, many, many times. You probably have in your own area. So dress rehearsal, pretend that you're a visitor there, and live out of only what you have prepared for your trip. Only that. At the end of your dress rehearsal, then you can do your tweaks. Now, you think, wow, but I got the cost of that. Oh, it's a lot cheaper to do it that way than it is to hit the road and then figure out that how wrong you were. This is a very, very low cost way to get things figured out. And fun too. Number 8, tweaks. You did your dress rehearsal. You got everything together. You did your dress rehearsal. You spent a month, let's say. And what did you do? What did you do right? What did you do wrong? What did you like? What did you not like? What can you fix? What can you decide? Do we even want to do this? Okay, that's fine. This is the time to tweak. This is the time to say, okay, I'll change that. I won't change that. We can improve that. All right. All this is part of a dress rehearsal. You're ready for Broadway now. You've done your dress rehearsal and it's time to go live. Number 9, it's time to begin traveling. Time to hit the road. Dress rehearsal's over. Take a ship, a train, a plane, whatever it is that you decided makes sense to you. I would encourage you, though, to test it out still a little bit more. Do a few trips. Don't sell everything and head right out. Try a couple of months. See what works, what doesn't work, what you like, what you don't like, before you commit to even longer term slow traveling. Or you could do it. You could just leap right out there. It's up to you. Okay. But you've gotten better prepared now with these few easy steps so that you can have a much more enjoyable time with slow traveling. All the planning, all the preparation, everything now, everything about your journey is going to be less intimidating and more enjoyable. And now it's time for number 10. What can number 10 be? I'm already traveling. You keep going. You keep going, you keep slow traveling, you keep experiencing different places, different cultures, different foods, different sights. And you know what else you're going to be doing constantly? You're going to be adapting. You're going to tweak. The luggage that you bought probably wasn't the perfect luggage. You'll find a little bit better luggage. You find something that you like better or worse. You discover that, I love going to a city and I love seeing the culture, but if you're like in the UK, I don't need to see another cathedral for a while. In Asia, I don't need to see another temple for a while. I love experiencing the local foods, but please let me have a cheeseburger. You're going to figure those tweaks out. You're going to adapt along the way. You're going to enjoy your journey, enjoy slow traveling, and enjoy your life. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please, I've got some other videos too that you might find interesting. Share any comments that you may have, and thank you again.